Welcome to the Ad Expert Podcast, and welcome to today's deep dive. We're glad you're here with us. Imagine for a second that you are like the absolute best plumber, electrician, or contractor in all of Los Angeles.
Right, like you have the fastest response times anywhere.
Exactly. You've got the highest quality tools, the most competitive rates, but you are completely invisible to 95% of the city.
Which means you might as well not exist, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. In a massive, sprawling market like LA, being excellent at your actual job is really only half the battle. The other half is, well, ensuring the algorithms actually introduce you to the people who desperately need you.
It's a brutal reality for a lot of service companies, you know?
Yeah.
You're dealing with this incredibly dense digital landscape that's layered right over an already complex physical geography.
Oh, totally.
The competition for search engine real estate out in Southern California is just fierce. If you aren't actively and accurately signaling your exact location, your specific services, and your authority to the right digital systems, you simply vanish. You just fade into the noise.
Which brings us to the core of today's deep dive.
Yeah.
We are looking at a highly tactical, extremely specific piece of source material. It's the Los Angeles Local SEO Master Checklist.
Yeah, a really great piece.
It's an article published on May 2, 2026 by Sam Ashrafi, and he is the founder and marketing strategist at Ad Expert, which is a premier online marketing and web development agency.
Okay, let's unpack this because the main goal for you listening today is to really understand the underlying mechanics of local search.
Right, and how to engineer a digital presence that actually turns passive search traffic into, real-world paying customers.
Exactly. But before we tear into the mechanics of their strategy, I think it's vital to understand the vantage point of the architects behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Ad Expert is not just dispensing generic nationwide theory from some corporate vacuum. They are operating with over 10 years of hard-won experience, specifically embedded right in the Los Angeles local market.
They're right in the thick of it.
Exactly. They're physically anchored there, headquartered at 6300 Varial Avenue in Woodland Hills. And they truly understand that hyper-local geography. They aren't running campaigns that just target a massive, amorphous Los Angeles keyword.
Oh no, that never works.
Right. They are drilling down into the specific ecosystems of Woodland Hills, Calabasas, Winnetka, Tarzan,
Encino, Sherman Oaks, West Hills.
Yeah, and Reseda, Burbank, and Van Nuys. They know those individual areas. And guiding that deeply localized strategy alongside Sam Ashrafi is Ehsan Nabavadi, their lead SEO and analytics expert.
He essentially builds the data-driven frameworks that power all these localized campaigns.
Which makes sense. Yeah, I always think of it like trying to do digital marketing in Los Angeles without localized expertise is basically like trying to navigate the 405 freeway at rush hour.
Oh man, a total nightmare.
Right. But doing it without a map, you need a local guide.
That is a perfect analogy. And that data-driven approach is really what separates a modern local SEO campaign from legacy marketing.
Yeah.
What works to rank a business in a quiet suburb in Ohio is fundamentally different from what moves the needle in Sherman Oaks.
A whole different ballgame.
100%.
Nah.
So Ad Expert relies on a sophisticated combination of past search data and intense localized competitor analysis. This lets them build highly specific target marketing strategies. They're looking at the unique micro-level digital trends of the San Fernando Valley or the West Side just to optimize every single variable.
So the foundation of any localized strategy isn't really the website itself, but rather the digital storefront. The Google Business Profile, or GBP.
Step 1 of the checklist right there.
Right. And we all know the basics of claiming a profile, but steps 1, 6, and 7 of the Ad Expert checklist zero in on granular optimization. For example, instead of just selecting a broad home services category, you have to pick the absolute most specific node available in Google's taxonomy.
Like emergency plumber instead of just plumber.
Exactly. And you have to load up on specific attributes, explicitly tagging things like, 24/7 availability or bilingual services.
Because those granular attributes act as primary filters for high-intent, long-tail searches. Think about it, when a customer in Tarzana has a pipe burst at 2 a.m., they aren't searching for home services.
No, they're panicking.
Right. They are frantically typing, "emergency plumber near me, open now." The GBP acts like the digital bouncer outside an exclusive Hollywood club. If your specific attributes aren't on the VIP list perfectly matching that user's exact query, you aren't getting into the local 3-pack.
You're just left standing out on the sidewalk.
Exactly.
The checklist also hammers on the necessity of consistent NAP data, name, address, phone number, and review management. not just getting reviews, but actively responding to both the 5-star praises and the 1-star rants.
Very crucial.
But I have to push back here on the absolute rigidity of the citation consistency they recommend. I mean, business owners are exhausted. Is it really that detrimental to my business if my hours are listed slightly wrong on one random online directory nobody checks?
What's fascinating here is how the algorithm actually works. We tend to anthropomorphize Google, right? We think of it as a human reader who can use common sense to deduce your real hours.
Sure, like, oh, they must be closed on Sundays.
Right. But in reality, it is a matching engine that's constantly calculating a confidence score. When it crawls the web and finds mismatched addresses, conflicting phone numbers, or outdated hours across different directories, it actively degrades that confidence score.
So it creates a fracture in the entity's data profile.
Exactly. Google's overarching mandate is to provide a reliable, frictionless answer to its user. If the algorithm detects conflicting information about whether you are actually open for business, its confidence drops.
It decides you're a risky recommendation.
Yes, it will bypass you entirely and serve up the competitor whose data is pristine simply because that competitor represents a safer bet for the user experience.
Wow, so it really is that petty, but for a good reason.
Yeah, it's just math to them. Conversely, maintaining perfectly consistent information across the entire web ecosystem, doing constant updates, and actively managing reviews, those serve as massive trust signals to Google.
So when you respond professionally to every review, you're not just doing customer service.
No, you are generating fresh, keyword-rich content on your profile while proving to the algorithm that you are active, responsive, and genuinely engaged with the local consumer base.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So once that external digital storefront is locked down, the ad expert strategy pivots to the technical foundation of the actual website. This is merging steps 2, 8, and 10 of their checklist.
By getting into the real architecture.
Yeah, this is where we get into the translation layer between human design and machine readability. Let's talk about schema markup, specifically deploying local business schema.
Schema markup is essentially a structured data vocabulary embedded directly into the code of the site. By wrapping your business NAP data, your operating hours, and specific services or events in local business schema, you bypass the need for the crawler to try and interpret your text.
You're just handing it over.
Yeah, you are feeding the search engine your core entity data in its native raw language.
I always think of schema as handing Google a translated cheat sheet of your business data.
That's a great way to put it.
Because instead of forcing the crawler to read through 3 paragraphs of beautifully written marketing copy to guess what you actually do, the schema provides a neatly organized, instantly digestible data packet.
It eliminates any ambiguity, and that allows your site to qualify for rich results and enhanced map listings that just dominate the top of the search page.
Right. But beyond the machine translation of schema, the technical checklist also demands absolute mobile optimization. Which, I mean, makes sense. In a highly mobile, commuter-heavy market like Los Angeles, a massive percentage of local queries are happening on 5G networks.
Yeah, well, someone is sitting in traffic on the 405 or dealing with a household emergency on the fly.
And if your site is bloated with uncompressed images or complex JavaScript that takes like 6 seconds to load on a mobile connection, the user is gone. They hit the back button before the hero image even renders.
And that rapid return to the search results is a huge problem. It's a critical negative ranking factor. Google is relentlessly tracking those user experience signals.
So when the algorithm sees a pattern of users clicking your link and immediately bouncing back, it concludes your site failed.
Exactly. It failed to satisfy the search intent. It doesn't matter how perfect your schema is or how many citations you have. If the mobile experience is sluggish, Google will aggressively downrank your site to protect its users.
Which brings up a really elegant point from the checklist regarding media integration. Ad Expert recommends embedding high-quality images of your team and local landmarks.
Yes, the dual-layer communication.
Yeah. You use a recognizable image of the San Fernando Valley or the Burbank skyline to instantly soothe the human customer who wants to know you are truly local. But simultaneously, you embed that image with highly optimized alt text, like local SEO checklists for Los Angeles service companies feeding crucial relevance signals directly to the crawler.
It is brilliantly efficient. You satisfy the psychological need of the human user for local familiarity while feeding the technical appetite of the bot for hyper-local relevance.
So, okay, the digital storefront is optimized, the website is fast and fluent in schema, The mobile experience is frictionless.
Sounds perfect, right?
You'd think so. But Google still won't recommend you if nobody else in Los Angeles vouches for you. Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's talk about building the local web.
Steps 3 and 4. Content and link building.
Exactly. Ad Expert emphasizes building hyper-specific landing pages, like Los Angeles HVAC repair services, rather than just a generic R services page.
Because the architecture of the site needs to reflect the geography of your target market. If you serve the greater LA area, burying all your capabilities on a single page dilutes your relevance for any specific neighborhood.
It's just too vague.
Right. By deploying dedicated city-specific landing pages, you create highly targeted entry points for the algorithm. But, and this is key, the text on those pages cannot be the old-school, keyword-stuffed garbage from 10 years ago.
No, definitely not. Ad Expert offers dedicated SEO content creation that leans heavily into semantic keywords. Modern search engines operate on a sophisticated understanding of natural language and entity relationships, right?
They understand the context of a topic now. If you are trying to rank for HVAC repair in Reseda, the crawler expects to see a natural constellation of related terminology.
Words like compressor, refrigerant, thermostat calibration.
Yeah, and seasonal energy efficiency ratios. By utilizing semantic keywords, their copywriters meet Google's algorithm requirements naturally. They prove deep, topical expertise without ever resorting to spammy repetition.
Okay, so the content establishes the expertise, but the authority is built through local link building. The checklist outlines strategies like securing listings in industry directories, guest posting, and even partnering with nearby businesses for sponsorships.
Right, getting out into the community.
But I have to push back here. Sponsoring a Little League team in Encino or partnering with a neighboring coffee shop for an event sounds like classic physical networking. Does Google's digital algorithm actually care about real-world community involvement?
It cares intensely about the digital footprint generated by that real-world involvement.
Right, really?
Oh, yeah. When an established high-trust local entity, say, a neighborhood chamber of commerce, a local school district, or a well-regarded community event page links back to your website, a massive transfer of link equity occurs.
So it's basically the digital equivalent of word of mouth.
Exactly. It is essentially the algorithm mapping the physical relationships of a community onto the digital graph. When Google observes trusted Los Angeles organizations pointing to your domain, it validates your existence in that physical space.
It proves you aren't just a lead generation shell website pretending to be local.
Spot on. It proves you are genuinely integrated into the LA community.
Okay, so you've optimized the data, built the semantic content, and woven your business into the digital fabric of the community. But you can't just set it and forget it. We have to dive into the science of success, which is steps 5 and 9.
The tracking, the analytics, and the AI.
Right. Ad Expert heavily uses Google Search Console to track clicks, impressions, and conversions. So, what does this all mean? If I'm a business owner in Van Nuys running from job site to job site, how does all this data practically help me?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, comprehensive data tracking completely removes the guesswork from your marketing. Ad Expert utilizes advanced analytics to monitor the absolute granular performance of the campaign.
They aren't just looking at total traffic.
No, not at all. They're tracking the exact local search queries, driving impressions, the behavioral flow of users across those hyperlocal landing pages, and the specific conversion rates of contact forms and phone calls.
And their broader service offerings really emphasize live tracking and real-time marketing insights. They execute rigorous A/B testing on those landing pages, testing different calls to action against each other in real time.
To mathematically determine which version converts more Los Angeles traffic into actual phone calls. That real-time capability is the game changer.
Because traditionally, you'd fund a campaign and rate like 30 to 60 days for a report.
Yeah, and only then realize the messaging didn't even resonate in a specific neighborhood. But with live tracking, Ad Expert observes how the local market is reacting in the moment. If a specific service page has high impressions but a low conversion rate in Tarzana, they don't wait a month.
They pivot immediately. They adjust based on real user behavior, not assumptions.
Exactly, and this is where their integration of AI-powered customer targeting becomes incredibly potent. By feeding this real-time performance data into AI models, Ad Expert can identify highly specific, emergent search patterns within the LA market.
Oh, wow. So they can dynamically personalize the marketing campaigns.
Yes. Anticipating consumer needs and positioning your business in front of the right customer at the exact moment of high intent. It maximizes the ROI of every dollar spent.
That's incredible. It puts you leagues ahead of competitors still operating on static set-and-forget strategies. To bring this all together for you listening today, the core lesson from the Ad Expert Master Checklist is that local SEO is not a one-time setup.
No, it is a living, breathing ecosystem.
It demands an obsessively updated Google business profile. It requires an unshakable technical foundation built on clean schema markup and mobile architecture. It thrives on hyper-local content and constant data analysis, all of which Ad Expert offers to Los Angeles businesses.
It is a sophisticated, multi-layered strategy engineered specifically for the complexities of LA. But, as we examine their current utilization of AI for live analytics, it really raises an important thought about the future of local commerce.
Oh, where do you see it going?
Well, as generative AI and autonomous agents become deeply integrated into our devices, how will local search change tomorrow? In the very near future, a customer in Calabasas with a broken AC unit might never even visit your website.
Wait, really? How would they book?
They will simply instruct their personal AI assistant to find and book the best local HVAC technician. That AI will instantly crawl the web, directly read your local business schema markup behind the scenes, ingest your trust signals, and independently book the appointment directly into your system.
The structured data becomes the entire interface. That is a staggering variable. You are no longer just optimizing to appeal to human psychology. You are engineering for autonomous machines making purchasing decisions on behalf of those humans.
It's definitely a paradigm shift to chew on as you evaluate your current digital storefront.
Absolutely something to ponder. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Take a hard look at your own local presence today with fresh eyes. Are you a highly visible, trusted authority in your neighborhood, or are you just another ghost in the machine? We'll catch you next time.